Hey, what's going on people, it's Low Heat, and in this video you'll see how I made this beat. Using just a couple of samples and Ableton Simpler. I'll show you two methods of chopping samples. The first method is using the Simpler, and the second method is using the Slice to MIDI feature. And you'll also see how you can quickly and easily design your own playable instruments from the samples to play bass lines and melodic parts. I've got plenty of tutorials and beat making videos on the channel and plenty more to come, so make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. Now straight on to the actual content. So here are the samples that I'm gonna use. I've prepared them beforehand. This one was actually from my Ableton Live pack called Lo-Fi Synths. You get both the instrument and the MIDI information for the chord progression and the melody, so check this out in the description of the video. And the next sample was a vocal sample from a Loop Master sample pack.
Ahora mismo está gozando y me mira.
Yeah, so next one is a bell melody. And a single fat bass note from Analog Synths to make a bass line. So I'm gonna start with the first sample, create a new MIDI track with the Simpler, and drag and drop the sample onto the Simpler. It's ready to play now. If I warp it, I can actually play it up and down the keyboard without changing the BPM. Let's choose the complex mode for better quality. And of course this is the classic mode where we play the sample like an instrument. We can actually slice it, and as you probably know, when you slice it, a portion of the sample is assigned to a key of your keyboard or a pad of your pad controller, and you can change the order of the samples by playing them with your controller. And with the transient mode, it's sliced automatically, and you can tone down the sensitivity if you want to have fewer slices actually. The beat mode divides the sample into equal time divisions. And it works well with the sample. With the region, again, it's sliced into equal portions, but they are not bound by note values. They can be like any number of slices you want. And with the manual, you just place your slices by tapping down with the mouse at the position that you want to create a slice. And the playing mode is set to trigger, so it plays the whole slice all the way through, and when you set it to gate, you need to hold down the key. And when you let go of the key, it stops playing. I'll use the trigger mode, and maybe use the beat mode because it works well with this sample. And of course you can edit the slices to fine-tune them if they're not exactly where you want them to be. Okay, so let's do the drums now. I just need a simple kick, hi-hat and snare. So I can quickly create a drum rack out of this by slicing to MIDI. Right click and slice to new MIDI track. And I'm going to create one slice per transient, so I'll let Ableton detect where the drum hits are placed in the sample and create a slicing point. And I'm just gonna use the default slicing preset, preserve warp timing, I don't need that, and I press OK. So I have a drum rack now. right click and copy value to symbols to have all the samples inside the drum rack with the increased volume that I just did. Maybe add a bit of drum bus to the drums to make them punch harder. Let me record the drum pattern first. Maybe add some reverb to the snare drum. Add some boom to the kick. And let's play the sample. Gonna remove the warping, let's see if it grooves better. And I'm gonna add some movement with the low pass filter and route the LFO to the low pass filter. Set the BPM synchronization of the LFO. Let's see what we got. Sounds dope. Let me add some Valhalla Supermassive with maybe the ensemble, synth ensemble preset. And I'm gonna add some reverb from Realm, which is on a return track here. So yeah. Cool, let's do the bass now. Add a new MIDI track with the simpler. I've got simpler to load by default. And now we need to tune the sample, make sure it's the correct notes. Simpler always thinks that anything you load to it is C, so you need to transpose it if it's not, and it's not, it's F sharp. So I transpose it +6, and I may even fine tune it. Turn it to a monophonic patch by decreasing the amount of voices, and of course the low pass. Yeah, so yeah, let's record the bass now. Yeah, so let's add some glide. Add another instrument, another simpler, and let's try to make a melody with the vocal sample.
Ahora mismo está gozando y me mira.
I'm just gonna use this long part and create an instrument out of it. Oh yeah. Let me tune it. So when I play C it shows D, so I need to transpose it 2 semitones down. And maybe mess with the envelope, add some more release. Maybe loop the sample so we can play a longer notes. Let me add again some Valhalla Supermassive. Let's try reverb preset. Too long reverb, maybe dial down the feedback a bit. Let's record some melody. Let's add the bell pattern. I think it's in the same key, because I remember it was in E minor. And what key are we in? Well, we start with the F minor chord progression. I've transposed it to one semitone down, so we should be in E minor now. Oh yeah. Let me slide this one too. Super quick slicing with the transient mode. And so that's all for this video. See you in the next one.